Ladies and gentlemen, this is your guys here from the Woo Fantasy Podcast, bringing you the very first of our mini Woo Fantasy live drafts, or best ball drafts, I'll say. Tonight is actually a live draft, so we wanted to get everybody together and kind of see how things unfold post NFL draft. But here we are, as always, with my co-host, ready to do a little live drafting this evening. Nick Heffley, how are we doing, sir?
I'm a little woo fantasy.
He's feeling it already. Like
Ready for it, man. 3 straight days of drafting. Hopefully some of you guys got to join us for our round one stream the other day. I'm gonna go let the dog out here right before we get started here, dude. I'm ready to go, man.
That's right. We are ready to go. We're just about a minute and a half away from the start of this draft. Got set up through RT Sports, doing a little Woo Fantasy
Love
live
some
draft
RT Sports.
Here. Yeah, that's where we do a lot of our draftings. We've done the mini drafts that I sponsor through the SBFFC, our live draft on a Friday night that we do up there with everything, the big shindig that we have going on every year. As always, through RT Sports. We enjoy the site there. A lot of things you can do with our RT Sports. So reach out to them, setting up a bunch of best ball leagues. We're going to do a few more as the offseason unfolds, so be on the lookout for those. We'll have you guys set up and ready to go. Definitely follow us on the Twitter account. That is Woo_fantasy
Twitter
that you see on the screen right there. We're going to put out all our information there and have you ready for future drafts, whether it be myself doing a draft, whether it be the co-host there, Nick Heffley, doing a draft. We're going to be involved. And there's Peyton.
Peyton he don't want to come back and he don't want to draft. You got 30 seconds, Peyton. Let's go.
30 seconds left before the draft. We're selecting second in this draft. Obviously, the first pick in this draft will be Christian McCaffrey. There's no bones about that. We know that going in. So second pick, what are we thinking?
The
selection is between two obvious people, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could go Michael Thomas, but going ahead and looking at round 2. Where we're picking at the very tail end, I think we can get a lot better receiver than we can running back. So my pick is definitely for Saquon Barkley here with his receiving ability. With that offense in Dallas, I don't know if we're necessarily going to be running the ball as much as we were in the last couple of years. So I know Saquon would be my pick.
And that is who I have as my number 2 ranked player currently over at rotoballer.com would be Saquon Barkley. And that is who we're going to go with. McCaffrey, of course, first off the board. And we're going to go with Saquon Barkley coming to Team Woo. Number 2 selection.
Saquon.
Right. That is right. All right, so NFL draft is behind us. We just finished the last 3 days of NFL draft coverage. So, what are our thoughts right now with player movement, player landing? We saw that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the big winner from night 1, landing with the Chiefs. But
quickly dissipated day 2.
Yeah, day 2. All the running backs, a lot of the receivers started falling off the board. What's your feelings right now?
Really that there are not a lot of good landing spots like there have been in previous years. I know in our Dynasty League that we've been doing since 2003, I've actually got the number 1 pick this next year. And there's a lot of candidates there. It's a non-PPR. We've kept it pretty traditional over the years. There haven't been too many calls for doing something different. I think just because we do so many PPR leagues, we've kind of kept that very, very similar to what we've done in the past. But usually every year, much like Saquon Barkley and Zeke Elliott, I mean, there have been true number 1 guys to go number 1, and I don't know that there's necessarily a true number 1 to go this year. So I think just I think this year more than ever in a dynasty and in a redraft, it's all going to be about who's got the best potential, who's got the chance to get the most carries the quickest. So it's it's really going to be interesting. There's not a lot of amazing landing spots like there have been in years past.
Yeah, and I just last night finished up reordering the rookie ranks for Rotoballer. Did those last night and got those sent in. So if you haven't been over to the site at rotoballer.com, definitely go over there and check that out. We have those ranks now available for you. I wound up with keeping Jonathan Taylor number one on my rookie board currently right now. I know a lot of the talk around the industry was that Hilaire was going to be the number one guy. Then, of course, on day 2, we had Cam Akers go to the Los Angeles Rams. But as it stands right now, Jonathan Taylor is still sitting number one on my board. What do you think about that?
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan. I think for me, I'm going to go a little against the grain on a lot of these. For you're saying dynasty or redraft?
Well, with a rookie rankings board, it's going to be a dynasty setup. Okay. So you're drafting this based on the dynasty. What I'm thinking they're going to do post 2020, of course.
10-4. Okay, I just wanted to make sure the format, because I think that's one of the biggest things when looking at some of these rookies is what's the format? Is it, if it's dynasty, that's one thing. If it's just this year, that's a completely different ball of wax. So dynasty rankings, I think Jonathan Taylor's good. He's had a lot of wear and tear on him there. J.K. Dobbins is in a great offense to utilize his skill set. He's going to get a lot of rushing yards. I think Mark Ingram only has one more year left to go in his contract. So
that is correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure of Marlon Mack's outlook there. I know he's got a lot more people surrounding him. So Cam Akers, honestly, my immediate reaction, without seeing any other input, just my immediate reaction is going to be the guy who I think is in the A in a really damn good offense, and B doesn't have a lot of just, hey, this guy's great. So I would be going honestly against the grain, and for me, Cam Akers is pretty highly ranked up there for me and what the skill set that he can bring. Only because I think Clyde Edwards-Hilaire has a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, and he apparently is being looked at more as a third down guy and kind of getting mixed in. So I think it's going to be one of those things we have to see, but that's why we do drafts like this early.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. We've rattled off all 3 of the guys that I've currently got at the top of my board, whether that be Taylor, whether that be Edwards-Hilaire that I've got number 2 right now, and Akers is at number 3. I think it's kind of a pick your poison kind of thing. The immediate reaction with Akers was, oh my gosh, he's the de facto number 1 running back in that offense. He's going to get the ball a ton. But then I kind of go back and I start diving into the numbers and looking at some things. And yeah, although he may be a part of the passing game, he might not be really featured in that role because of Darrell Henderson. They're going to probably want to use him a little bit more, I would imagine, going into 2020. But then also, too, that offensive line. There was no additions made to that offensive line. They were 31st in run blocking a season ago. Of course, the argument could be made that Cam Akers knows what that feeling is because he was behind Florida State's offensive line that was one of the worst in college last year as well.
I think that's why Taylor's ranked so highly. I mean, look at the line he's got there.
That's why I went with that. I figured, I'm looking at this as a looking out past 2020 situation. I'm saying that the Colts have one of the, if not best, offensive lines in football. And they're going to want to run the football even post Phillip Rivers when they bring in a new quarterback. So I think that's going to be a situation where, Taylor's going to be featured heavily. And for the life of his first initial contract, I think you're going to get a whole lot of production that's going to make up for the fact of all the what you might see later on down the line in his career. I think he's going to produce well enough early on that it's going to make up for that first pick in a rookie draft.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the only thing, relax up here a little bit with a little Monday Night Brewery beer. So there you go. I know how. Trust me, my co-host Brandon definitely loves his beer.
I love the alcohol content.
The only thing that really gets me is Taylor's usage and how many carries and how many yards he had when he was at Wisconsin. That's the only thing that really gets me. Outside of, I've been a Marlon Mack fan for a little while. I think that's the roughest part about these guys is, Miami and Tampa were the ultimate landing spots, I think, to be able to really come in and really do something here. And none of the top guys went there. So, Keyshawn Vaughn, I think, is a guy who's going to have some value here. From what I've read out there, they're looking at him like somebody that come in and can be a 3-down back. But Rojo came in last year, and as bad as he was his rookie year, he came in and actually was decent. Who knows what he's going to be able to do with that passing offense there and getting some rushing lanes open.
So just to kind of break off the rookie talk a little bit, we'll go into what we're seeing as this draft is unfolding right now. We're midway through the second round of this 10-team draft here. Some question marks have been made already, of course, that I would assume. We've got the way the first round unfolded. We went McCaffrey, Barkley, Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Michael Thomas there at the 5th selection. That makes sense. Then you had, following him, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler at 7.
Wow.
Then you had Miles Sanders at 8, Travis Kelce, Nick Chubb to round out round 1. Some definite head-scratching picks there. I get it. It's a best ball. You're kind of swinging for the fences. But then we go into round 2. Starting off round 2, you got Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, who I was kind of interested to see where he would fall. And then you have Devontae Adams and Derrick Henry, 5 picks into this second round. So Aaron Jones, that's been a hotly debated subject since the selection of A.J. Dillon by the Packers. 19 touchdowns in 2019 for Aaron Jones. Obviously, you would think that there would be a regression there. I believe 9 of his touchdowns came from inside the 5-yard line. I would imagine that that's going to be a role that A.J. Dillon fills this year. So how are you feeling about Aaron Jones post a big season in 2019?
Yeah, I think he's going to come down a little bit. The A.J. Dillon move does absolutely nothing for my outlook on him. I think he's going to be in a great offense. He's not going to have 19 touchdowns, but somewhere in that 11 to 14 range sounds about right. So I'm not discounting Aaron Jones whatsoever. I think the A.J. Dillon move is just something more of an insurance policy. Not to mention if they let Jamal Williams go, AJ will be at least somebody that they can count on to come in and move the chains.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think in the way that a lot of the talk has been last couple of days too is how Matt LaFleur is a guy that really likes to rotate those backs in and out, wants to switch guys in and out. We saw it last year. Aaron Jones, I think, managed 55% of the snaps in the backfield. So you would expect to see that be about the same this year. He did the same thing with Tennessee with the Titans. That year he had Deion Lewis mixing in and out with Derrick Henry, so we saw that. So now you have another weapon in that backfield for the Packers, who of course were getting trounced for their selections in the draft, as they should have.
That's head scratching.
So now we are up on the clock. We have. On the board, we have Saquon Barkley. Of course, we took with our first selection. Best player available at this point right now.
Yeah, scroll down. It's hard for me.
Julio Jones, Beckham, DJ Moore, Singletary, Chris Godwin, Tyreek Hill. I think the selection would have to be between Julio or Godwin, right?
Yeah. I'm going to Julio, and then just keeping my fingers crossed that Godwin or Tyreek fall to us there.
That's what we did.
That's definitely who I'm going with there for sure.
Yes, we did make the selection of Julio Jones there.
Can you toggle that to where the picked guys are off the screen? That way we can only see.
No, I guess it's
really. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Boom.
Okay, hey,
there we go. Bingo. Got it.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. That
Pat
makes
Mahomes
it a little bit.
goes. Okay.
Pat Mahomes at the end of round 2, not shocked by that. Would actually assume that we would have probably seen Lamar Jackson come off the board first. So now we're in a situation where we have Godwin coming back to us. DJ Moore on the clock on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me it was going to be either Tyreek or Chris Godwin, whoever fell. I know how big you are.
I think Chris Godwin's going to have a big year,
and we do have George Kittle there. We got 30 seconds. What's your thoughts about tight end at this spot?
I mean, you could go with tight end to shore it up. We've got a top flight receiver at this point right now.
How many receivers do we start in here?
It's going to be 3 receivers in this format.
And what, one flex?
Yes. Or actually 2. We're going to start 2 receivers. So I'm going to go with Kittle at that point.
Yeah, I think you have to. Yeah. 3 receivers, I think you go. 3 receivers, I think you go with Godwin. 2 receivers with that flex. We can mix and match guys all day, but Kittle is easily
I think
great pick
with the format. The two wide receivers set up, tight end and a flex. I think the Kittle would have been the pick there. I mean, we're in the 3rd round here, so that's pick. What was that? That's pick 22. So you're looking at back end round 2 of a 12-team format. So I'm not going to argue that. That seems like a solid pick right there.
10-team B.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying with that pick in a 12-team format, Kittle would have been selected. That would have been 2 picks shy of the end of round 2.
10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think with the format, I think here with the 3 wide receivers start 1 flex, I think you go the wide receiver, but with only 2, we could pick 12 wide receivers and we would be okay. So, yeah, I love the Kittle pick at this point. I think he slipped to us for sure.
Yeah, I agree there. So how are we feeling with tight ends overall this year? We've mentioned it on the podcast over the last few weeks. It seems like it's just getting deeper and deeper as the years go along. Now we're sitting in a spot where you feel like you could probably go about 15 deep of some guys at that position right now.
Yeah, I mean, with Gronk coming back, that's another option that you didn't necessarily have last year to be able to pick from. I think with the format that we're in, with the best ball format, I think we definitely go and get that second tight end early, because that second tight end can go and fill in at a flex spot pretty damn easy too. So
correct. I agree with you there. That's the thing with the best ball. You do want to make sure you've got multiples at your positions, so you're not taking those zeros on certain weeks. You do want to maximize the amount of points that you can get in each given week, and it's better to have multiples at a position. That way, you're not stuck with a guy that scores you 3 points one week because you haven't drafted enough guys, and you have the other one on bye week. So.
Hey, let's talk about this real quick. While we're going through, I'm watching F1 Network while we're drafting here. Matt Breida getting traded to the Dolphins there. Where do you have Matt Breida here in drafts right now?
Oh, see, as I went and redid some half-point PPR rankings just yesterday after the draft finished up, I have Breida now up to 37 in my running back rankings at the moment. So just outside RB3 territory.
Really?
Yes. Jordan Howard, I have him at currently 32. Right now I'm going with well, you have to figure they're gonna mostly vulture off of each other. I don't see that they're going to really feature one over the other. We saw the Dolphins do it last year with multiple guys in the backfield, and the offensive line's not that great, so we have to go with that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you there.
You have every right to do so.
Yeah, Jordan Howard is not good.
He's at least the guy that's going to get touchdowns for you, though.
Okay, but I'm seeing him as more of a guy who we saw the last 2 years out of Jordan Howard, and that's not good. I'm not saying Matt Breida is a world beater, but Matt Breida is at least going to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a guy. There is no way I've got him in my 30s. He's easily early to mid tier RB3.
Which I'm not going to discount that either.
For me, I'm ranking. Granted, I'm not like you. I'm not going on there and just constantly ranking guys. I'm going to start my rankings up here, in about a month or two. But looking at him, I'm saying he's somewhere between the 25 to probably 30 range on my end. He's not going to be, somebody to draft as an RB2 and really count on week in, week out. But his upside is especially if Tua is going to be starting early. Yeah, it's going to be a move where we definitely want him earlier than later. Jordan Howard is not going to be a fit.
No, I think he will be a fit with what they're going to try to do, but then also too with my ranking on Breida, I kind of factor in that he's going to get banged up, he's going to get knocked around, going to possibly miss some games or leave games early. It's the Matt Breida thing to do. I mean, we've seen it over the course of the last 3 years in San Francisco. He'll pop big games for you. But that's just when you're ready to start counting on him and sliding him into your starting lineup on a consistent weekly basis, boom, gone, out for a week or two.
Speaking of rookies, there we go. I just saw Clyde Edwards-Hilaire at 310.
So a 30th pick off the board. So I think that's going to be probably about where he goes in some of these 12-team formats as well, which, like I said, we're going to set up some of those in the course of the next coming weeks, so we'll get a better look at 12-team league.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit rich for my blood. In a dynasty league, in a first-year dynasty league, maybe you go that route, but a rookie PPR league, best ball, man, that is a lot to go for, especially when you got some guys that can go out there and produce, and what their role in their offense. Like Melvin Gordon, there's no way I would not be taking Melvin Gordon ahead of somebody like Clyde Edwards-Hilaire.
Yeah, and I think I've got when I looked at my rankings earlier today too, I want to say I had him Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is one spot right behind Melvin Gordon, so I would agree with you there. I have Edwards-Hilaire as the current top rookie on the board, I believe, at 16 at the running back spot.
I mean, he's going to get catches. He's going to get catches. I mean, man, that's way too rich for my blood, man.
I think that's, especially in this type of a format, that's where you have to go to. Swing for the fences. If he overtakes Damian Williams, which could be the case, is very well expected to be the case, I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to put up RB1 numbers on a weekly basis. Yeah. We've seen it.
Yeah, I disagree. Damian, I'm not saying Damian Williams is going to go out there and he's going to be a number 1 or 2.
So now we're on the clock. Just to interrupt you there, we are now up. We have David Montgomery next best available running back. You've got Devontae Parker next best available.
What is the team right behind us have? This is always one of my favorite things to look at. What does he have? Can we click on there?
I might run out of time here to do so, but looks like 2 running backs, quarterback, and a wide receiver is what they have.
I mean, for me, I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
I was going to go Cortland Sutton here.
Yeah, let's do that.
That would be the pick for me. A little bit of upside here with an offense that's starting to kind of gain momentum.
So where are we going right after that here?
Right after that,
it should be quite quickly coming back.
What do we got? We would need to look at running back here.
What do we got quarterback though? Just want to take.
If you want to look at that, you got Dak Prescott, of course, who's expected to have a very, very big year in Dallas with all the weapons that they've surrounded him with now.
We're only starting one quarterback in this thing, right?
One quarterback, yes. Okay, best ball, you're getting the one quarterback format.
Negative. So running back, let's see, what are we looking? We're looking at Montgomery if he doesn't go there, which I'm assuming he will not. Let's see, Howard, Michelle. Running backs are starting to get pretty thin. Let's hope that the guy there is not listening to us to where he's overhearing what we're talking about here.
Yes.
I mean, this is if we were in the mid part of the round, I would be Mostert. Okay. I mean, I think just with who he has behind him and the target share he's going to get, I'm going Dave Montgomery, post type.
I mean, obviously he didn't have that bad of a year by season.
He had a really good year. I think his numbers are one of those things that it shows up there that he didn't have necessarily a great year, but if you go back and dive into the numbers, he actually had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah, a fairly solid year by season's end. He goes for 7 touchdowns, right at 1,000 yards. Not that bad of a year for David Montgomery. That's the biggest thing with him.
I don't think RT is up on the last year's stats there, unfortunately.
They got him up on the last year's stats when you pull him up the player before you draft him. But no, I agree. Yeah, it's Montgomery's going to be our number 2. The way it's set up right now, we've got Saquon Barkley, so we got that bona fide number 1.
You got a guy who, I mean, for what I'm taking a look at, I mean, Dave Montgomery's a post-type guy who didn't have a bad year last year, maybe didn't live up to the.
And there you have Rojo coming off the board right behind us.
I mean,
Amari Cooper.
I think we made a good pick.
Look at finally have Amari Cooper coming off the board here, 4th pick of the 5th round. How do you feel about how he might look in 2020 now with CD Lamb there? I mean, you've got weapons more around him. You still got Michael Gallup there.
I mean,
we're used to seeing Cooper put up top 10 numbers. How will that change?
Yeah, I mean, Cooper's a damn good receiver. I mean, I'd have been looking at him pretty positively. Except, I think Gallup is the better value there for me, especially with another mouth to feed. I mean, there's going to be balls to go around, but I would much rather have Dak Prescott than I would any of those receivers there. Whatever receiver is going last is the guy that I want.
Yeah, and this is a kind of a situation where best ball format is better to draft a Dallas Cowboy wide receiver than to have him in a seasonal format, because there's going to be weeks where you're going to see CD Lamb be the player to have. Mm-hmm. You're going to have weeks where it's going to be Amari Cooper. I think Michael Gallup, from just being a Dallas Cowboys fan, I think Gallup's going to settle more into a role of being the guy that's going to be the big play threat this year. He's going to be the guy that's going to be the down the field 9 route type guy. He's not going to be consistent in terms of catches and targets week in, week out.
Yeah, I mean, in a best ball format, that's what I want. I mean, give me that. Deshaun Jackson in a week in, week out league is not necessarily somebody I want, but Deshaun Jackson in a best ball, dude. Look at the game that he had last year coming out of the gates. If he hadn't got hurt, Deshaun Jackson's the kind of guy in a best ball format I want all day long.
Yeah, you want that Will Fuller effect, the guy that's going to pop in a given week and give you a big number. That's definitely the kind of guy you're going to want in a format like this. That's how you should play your strategy in best ball formats.
Absolutely. Go out and get your guys that you know are going to give you a floor. They're going to come out of here. You need guys that are going to, 1 out of every 3 weeks, they're going to perform as a number 1 at their position.
We have Dr. Harwood here at the end of round 5 taking A.J. Brown. Not a shocker of a pick here with the Tennessee.
I thought that was Antonio Brown for a second.
Yes, I would.
Speaking of which, don't make sure we draft him.
Yeah, let's go grab him at the very end of this draft. You never know.
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely, man.
But the thing is with him, where would he even go right now?
I have no idea, but he's better than anybody else we get at the very last pick of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I go with it. I get you with that mindset, but if you're looking at it in terms of that, I mean, I would almost rather go with a guy like a Josh Gordon than I would with Antonio Brown. Brown may not even pass the exempt commissioners list to even get back into the league based on his actions.
Yeah, I mean, but look at what Josh Gordon did last year when he was in. It wasn't that good.
It wasn't a lot, and I agree with you. You could tell that he had kind of lost his passion to play the game from what it looked like last year.
Scroll down the RB list here real quick. We're middle of the 6th round. I mean, that's all you're seeing right here is
you're getting
timeshare.
Yeah, 65 picks deep now.
Timeshare. There's guys who's sitting out there. I mean, he's a guy who I had in the SBFFC last year coming down the stretch. Dude, DeAndre Swift is another one, man. That would be, if somebody like that could fall to us, none of y'all be listening out there, guys. Y'all shut up. Don't be looking at our board here. But I mean, Swift is a guy. I mean, what do you think about Swift and carry on in that Detroit offense?
Well, yeah, it was a discussion I had with some of the guys at Roto Baller yesterday. Was discussing DeAndre Swift in that backfield. I like the talent of the player. I don't like the landing spot, which we saw a lot of that over the course of the last 3 days in the NFL draft. But should Swift overtake Kerryon Johnson and be the lead back in Detroit? Sure. But the thing is, he and Kerryon are kind of the similar players as far as their makeup of skill set. They're both good coming out of the backfield as pass catchers. Both have similar type running styles. DeAndre Swift may hit the hole a little bit quicker, has more breakaway speed. So yeah, I get it. But with me, Swift, I mean, that's a guy I think the bigger thing there, I don't think creativity is going to be his friend with that Detroit offense. They're not going to be creative enough in how they use him. Now we're up on the clock again.
Yeah, hit top 300. Let's see what we got overall here.
Yeah, we have Marlon Mack, Hunt, Darren Waller. If we wanted to go 2 tight end already, and then you're getting into those timeshare running backs like we have been mentioning.
I feel like this is a little early for some of the. I feel like we can almost get better value somewhere else.
Possibly.
Or scroll down. I can't. Yeah,
we got 10 seconds, sir.
No, that's not on that. We got 10 seconds till our pick, sir.
No, we're on the clock, sir.
No way. No, it's got a team. Oh shit. Okay, pick your guy. Go ahead.
We're gonna go Kareem Hunt here.
Good pick.
Oh, never mind. It took Marlon Mack because we missed the pick. So
okay.
Marlon Mack is the guy. So now we're
sorry. All I could see, I'm looking on your screen. I saw a hat there. So
yeah, I was trying to grab Kareem Hunt there. So we got Marlon Mack as an RB3.
That's why it goes to show you do not live pod and draft.
Well, or especially on a short clock like this too. I think it's like a minute long clock that we're going through.
Okay. So 10-4. All right. Well, let's get set for our next pick here. So what do we got? Let's see. Hit the wide receiver board there.
Still a lot of value there. You got Boyd, you got Stephon Diggs now, Buffalo, T.Y. Hilton, DK Metcalf, McLaurin, which I know who I'm probably targeting here out of this group here. For me, the pick I like is DK Metcalf here.
Yeah, I would either have to say him or T.Y. Would probably be my picks. I mean, T.Y. has some weeks that he goes the fuck off.
He does. But I'm looking at too as far as an ascending talent with a DK Metcalf and scoring potential in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Oh, it is our pick again. Holy
crap. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's go DK. I'm good with that.
You go DK Metcalf, who I do have ranked. Obviously, I have him ranked ahead of T.Y. Hilton on my board. As it stands right now, we'll go and look. I've got DK Metcalf at 20 overall. T.Y. Hilton all the way down at 32 right now.
Yeah, I think it's a bad ranking on your part.
Nah, I think you're getting to the point now. It's Phillip Rivers. And they're bringing in guys all around him. You've got Jonathan Taylor now. You've got Marlon Mack. They're going to want to run the ball and limit what Rivers does as far as throwing to the opposite team. But you've got Paris Campbell still coming back from last year. You've got Michael Pittman that they drafted this year as well.
I really like Michael Pittman.
I do too. I like Michael Pittman in that offense.
I think he landed a great spot. I mean, I liked Paris Campbell last year. He was hurt. I like Michael Pittman and the skill set he brings and just how different it is from Paris Campbell and T.Y. here. So I mean, look at what Phillip Rivers had too. I mean, that's why I think T.Y. I think T.Y. is going to have a good year. I look at T.Y. like the Keenan Allen, and I look at Mike Williams as the Pittman of this group here. So.
I agree with that. I think that's
Rob Gronkowski. That just, Gronkowski's going to have, yeah, okay. Yeah, never
Gronk off the board at the 70th.
I forget what format we're in here, man. I mean, if you're going to take Gronk, it's got to be in a best ball season long, week to week, that's just tough.
Yes, very much so. That's the thing with Gronkowski. Probably going to go back and look at this board after the draft is over with, see where he lines up as far as tight ends. Tight ends off the board. He got drafted ahead of Darren Waller, Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram. Just a poor selection.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah,
there's no way I would not. I would maybe. I mean, Hunter Henry is going to be a really good option in that offense. You've got young, unproven. I mean, if Tyrod's a guy, Tyrod was making the tight end a stud in Buffalo there.
He was.
So I mean, I think Hunter Henry is going to be a good consistent option week to week.
Yeah, I agree. Then coming back to our pick, as we're going to turn around, I'm going to wrap it around here in just a few.
Where are we at quarterback here?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Well, what we're looking at right now, we've got Barkley, we've got Montgomery, we've got Julio Jones, Sutton, DK Metcalf, and tight end at George Kittle. Your quarterbacks that are on the board currently right now, we're looking at. There you see Deshaun Watson at the top of the board. Tom Brady, Wentz, Matt Ryan.
I mean, obviously, if Deshaun falls to us, I think that would be, a really nice pick there. As well as I do, I'm looking down at Matt Ryan down there. Matt Ryan has been the model of consistency.
Yes,
he may not have, a sexy name out there in rankings, but dude, he's gonna bring some weeks there, and I think that's what you want. So
yeah, that's the thing too. With us having Julio Jones too, you have that nice little double point action.
Double point.
That's always something to really hone in on is when you got a stud at one position, you can tie in his value with another quarterback.
Good damn well Harwood, of course, at the turn is going to be going his boy from Western Kentucky, Tyler Higbee.
Yeah. I mean, he had that romp at the end of the year, the last 5 games of the season, where he was the top tight end in fantasy, and
I certainly benefited from it. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it was definitely a guy to have towards the end of the year. Now, will that translate into a 16-game production value for Higbee this year? How do you view Higbee right now?
I mean, I like his value. I mean, Gerald Everett never had. I mean, Gerald Everett had a good game every now and again, but he never had the kind of consistency that Tyler Higbee had last year. So, Higbee is a guy that I am definitely looking upon positively for this year.
Yeah, and then later on in the draft this year, yesterday they wound up taking Bryson Hopkins. Mm-hmm. So they bring in another guy to play that position too, and then Hopkins was a tight end that I was looking at pre-draft as hoping he would land in a very comfortable spot, and
not so much.
But now if they wind up, we wind up losing a guy like a Gerald Everett out of that offense moving forward, then who knows? He might wind up being a very valuable player to have down the road in a dynasty format.
Yep.
So now we had
some of the rookies, and of course Deshaun.
We had Deshaun pull off the board there, and I tell you, the other pick that I was looking to make here, I didn't really want to put it out there just yet, was the Cam Akers selection. I was looking to probably go ahead and grab a hold of Cam Akers.
What rookie running backs we got? Because I mean, the good thing right behind us is the guy drafting at the turn already has his quarterback, so we can go ahead and wait on that a second. Let's see. There's Matt Breida out there.
Yep. And you do have Breida, J.K.
Dobbins.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends. Do we want to pull the trigger on quarterback now, or I mean, in the situation we're in right now, I would almost look to go running back here.
Yeah, click on the wide receiver board. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's our pick. Okay.
Yeah, it is our pick. You got Diggs there, Gallup.
We got 1, 2. We got 2. We got 1. I mean, I'd probably say let's get 20 seconds left. I say, let's see, what do we got here? Cooks, Landry. I mean, but I personally like Stephon Diggs out of this group.
Yeah, it's the value pick at this point. I would give you that, so we'll go with Diggs.
All right, let's go ahead and get ready for another next pick here. Running back wise, what do we got out there?
Well, unless he gets sniped up right behind us, I know in this format and where we are right now what I would look to do myself, and that's probably going to be going with that running back there.
What do we? Let's see, J.K. Yeah.
Just thinking in terms of the value of the offense that he's playing on. This being a best ball, you're not really going to have him early on in the season. But if he has a big week in week 4, you've got him there in the bank.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pick at all.
I mean, you're looking at guys like James White. We're looking at
I'm not
Tariq Cohen, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's guys that are. I think White's value's down with Brady gone. Tariq Cohen, I mean, he's just a very ho-hum player. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, the one guy that I see is the guy you got clicked there, 72, Darius Geis. I mean, he did have a really good year last year. I mean, to me, JK is good, but they've got a lot of mouths to feed in that offense there. What do you think? Do we want to go running back or we want to go quarterback here?
Well, if we go quarterback, there's your quarterbacks. Brady, Wentz, Matt Ryan. You're probably getting into this range here where it'd probably be smart to go ahead and grab your quarterback. We're going to wrap around and have another 18 picks before we select again.
Yeah, I mean, I said we go ahead and get ooh, man. I mean, there's some really good quarterbacks here.
There are a number of them there. Yes.
I'm almost I think just with a couple running backs left, I said we go ahead and get our running back.
All right. And I will go and snag your selection.
All right. There we go.
Darius Geis. We'll probably have some different opinion of Darius Geis there.
This is why we do not draft a team together.
I'm not a big fan of Geis this year. That's another situation where, if we don't want to admit it or not, they have a lot of mouths to feed. There's a lot of players on that depth chart, and I mean, they brought in Antonio Gibson via the draft, who's going to play a little bit of everything for them: running back, wide receiver. Chris Thompson's gone. We know that.
Correct.
But you've got Adrian Peterson there still. They brought in Peyton Barber. I mean, there's just guys that are there.
I don't see much of anything out of Peyton Barber. Let's see if we can go to a game by game breakdown for Darius Geis last year. I mean, game to game last year when he was in, I mean, he did well.
He was being used. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, he was that game that I had for him against Carolina. 129 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had a damn good game. I think if he's in a format like this, I'm willing to take a chance because he I think outside of some of these other guys, I mean, DK, it's gonna be hard for him to ascend to the number 1 spot. I mean, you got a guy like Gus Edwards who he's still gonna get his. I think Darius Geis and what he is, and again, I think we can wait on a quarterback. Almost go 2 back-to-back and be able to get 2 good guys there to where the value at running back, wide receiver is just way too good to pass up here.
I would agree with that very much so. I think that's probably the call to make on this back end of the next round when we get back to us here at the end of round 10. Then jumping back into it, and we haven't really seen too much of it yet. Rookie wide receivers. Interest in some of these guys that have yet to really come off the board. You've got obviously your Jerry Jeudy's, you've got Henry Ruggs out there, CD Lamb, some of the players that were selected in this year's draft. Where around in about a draft are you kind of seeing where you're going to start to get interested in pulling names on those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're right about in that area here. I mean, Henry Ruggs, especially in a best ball. I mean, I think that's a good landing spot for somebody like that. Again, CD Lamb, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher of a pick. He may only have 2 or 3 weeks the entire year, where Ruggs week in week out could come in and give us the start there. So I think Justin Jefferson is somebody too in Minnesota that he can come in right away and take over that Diggs role in his production. Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about Michael Pittman. I think is somebody else too that could come in. I think they have a lot better shot than somebody like CeeDee Lamb. And I'll say this, and you know me, I hate to give the Cowboys credit for much, but they had a hell of a draft. I'd say probably top two in the league in terms of draft. You hated the CeeDee Lamb pick when it was made. I did too, but the way they ran it out the rest of the draft, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
On their picks there. So
yeah, it was an overall solid draft. I questioned the Lamb pick on night one, but we followed it up and really kind of filled in needs as the draft went along. I mean, you go in, get into round 5, and we get Bradley Anae, a guy that's just a sack monster out there at Utah, and we're getting him in the 5th round.
I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, the Badace, whatever from Wisconsin. There, I mean, he was.
Oh yeah, Tyler Biadasz.
That guy. Yeah. I mean, what a pick. I mean, again,
he's a Remington Award winner.
Predicted as a first rounder
as a first rounder. Yeah, has some injury issues, falls down the board. Of course, there's probably still some things that he needs to kind of work his way back from, but I mean, the guy can play offensive line. He'll be the center that we need him to be, taking over for Travis Frederick, and we steal the guy. And the best part about that is not a lot of people kind of really caught on to that fact, was that we traded up with the Eagles into that spot. The Eagles allowed us. Yeah, and the Eagles allowed us to trade up to take a guy that was falling down the board that wound up being a steal that we are going to use for many years to come to block their best defenders on the interior defensive line. Smart by the Eagles to let us do that, and I congratulate them.
Thank you.
I mean, but I can't say anything. It was just 2 years ago when I was dead set and ready for us to select Dallas Goedert. Here come the Eagles, one pick in front of us to select Dallas Goedert, when at the time, with Zach Ertz tearing up the league at the tight end position, they didn't need to take Dallas Goedert, but they knew we were probably going to select him, and they jump in our way and grab him at that spot. So yeah, that was a nice little eye for an eye moment for us, I think, as Cowboy fans.
Yeah. All right. Finally on the tournament, headed back.
We're finally making our way back. I think we're still going to be looking at that quarterback selection process here, possibly.
Where are we at tight end here?
Tight end wise, it's still really good spot with a lot of these guys. You see, you got Eric Ebron, Fant, Goddard, Hooper, Cook, Hawkinson, Gesicki, Hayden Hurst still there. I mean, a lot of your top tight ends have still yet to be selected.
I'm shocked that they have Ebron ranked so high here. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to go based on what Big Ben has done throughout history with the tight end, and Ebron's penchant for getting into the end zone. You don't think Ebron's going to come in and be a 70-catch tight end for the Steelers, but he might give you 8 touchdowns by the end of the year.
Quite true.
I think that's what they're probably looking at with their rankings there, because obviously, my rankings, I do not have Ebron ahead of any of the 4 guys that are following him name-wise.
Not at all.
But even with Hayden Hurst is a guy that I'm liking there.
Scroll through some of the running back and wide receiver here. Let's see what we got popping up here. JK is still there. Looks like let's see.
You're starting to get into a lot of that yuck and poo that you see late in drafts at this position here.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, it's not much to speak of there down this list as we're scrolling down. But I will say this, with Dr. Harwood there at the end of round 9 takes Keyshawn Vaughn.
It's a good pick. Best ball format's a pretty good pick.
Very good pick there. He's probably rating a lot of what some of the other fantasy experts are putting out there via Twitter right now. Of course, I saw that Brad Evans put out that's going to be his go-to rookie running back this year, which if you followed Brad Evans and you know what he does in the past, and of course I'd replied back to him to spell doom for Keyshawn Vaughn, because he has been known to pick a guy and that person falter like no other. We saw it last year. David Montgomery was his guy. did not live up to the expectations of that third round selection, fourth round selection. That was his guy last year. Year before it was Royce Freeman. We all saw what Royce Freeman did. Unfortunately, 3 years ago, he was very high on Rashad Penny, as was I. I blame him for that. So he has been known to get onto the train of certain individuals, and it doesn't work out for him. So we're back up on the clock here.
So I mean, I know we need a quarterback, but the guy behind us already has one, so I'm not worried about getting one now. So I'd say let's see what do we got here? Wide receiver here. Sorry.
Let's see. We'll go back to that list here. The wide receiver list.
We've got Julio. We've got Julio.
We've got Sutton. 4 guys in. Yeah, we've got Julio. We got Sutton. We got DK Metcalf and Stephon Diggs.
Okay, so we don't need that.
Nah, we're in a good spot with receiver right now. So it's either going to be.
Thought?
I mean, I would say either jump in on a running back, or we go ahead and grab a quarterback here. But the quarterbacks that are now still left, Stafford, Breeze, Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can get. I'm good with any one of those. I say we go ahead and running back and go get.
Time just ran out. Time just ran out as we were talking. We got James White in that process.
Lovely.
Yeah, not a great pick there. So now that does put us in a position where we're going to have to take.
Okay, let's go ahead and get a quarter. So what quarterback do you want right here?
I mean, for me, if you're going to look at it, I would probably go Breeze here. Final season with the Saints, more than likely. That offense is still hot.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's the
let's go ahead and do it now before the clock runs out again.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So if that minute long clock is a
that's
pain.
rough, man. Wow, you barely even know that we're on the clock, and then by the time we go and click on a thing or two, it's already up. So.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. Then we have the Steelers drafted defense right behind us there.
Wow.
First defense off the board here in the 11th round. That's a pick 111 overall.
I don't know that they would be the first defense that I would have. Wow.
They did finish as probably not fantasy points wise, but they finished as the top defense in the league last year. By season's end.
How many times do they repeat, Brandon?
Not very often.
That's right.
But that's they do have a very very good solid defense there. So dialing back, what I was thinking there with the pick that we wound up taking James White on the auto pick there.
I'd have probably gone JK.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking about going back and grabbing J.K. Dobbins, solidifying another solid running back that has a lot of upside. I mean, who's to say James White doesn't repeat as a guy that's going to get you a lot of catches? But with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, I mean, there's a good chance that Stidham does a lot of drop offs and gets the ball, to the back out of the backfield. I think they're going to have to do a lot of getting the ball in the hands of your best players type of an offense this year with Stidham at quarterback, because believe it or not, that's what these Patriots are going to do. They're going to probably stick with Jarrett Stidham. As much as you don't want to hear it, Jarrett Stidham is going to be the quarterback for the Patriots in 2020.
I saw something earlier today about them possibly going after Cam Newton. I don't know how true that is, but
yeah, I don't really see that as going to be an option for them. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think he fits what they're going to try to do, but I've been wrong before. To me, it doesn't make sense. But
keeping Jarrett Stidham as the quarterback of that offense doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, 20 years ago when a guy named Tom Brady came into that offense, we were thinking that the Patriots were dead in the water. And they suddenly turned into a dynasty. So
Jarrett Stidham is Tom Brady then.
I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying he could be better than we give him credit for just based on the coaching staff that he has around him. Is the way that I'm looking at that. I'm not going to discount any quarterback that's playing for Bill Belichick. We'll go with that. I mean, he gave Jacoby Brissett a contract somewhere else. He gave Matt Castle a contract somewhere else. He gave Jimmy Garoppolo a contract somewhere else. He even gave Brian Hoyer a contract somewhere else.
What are your feelings on Tommy Maddox? Isn't that who he had when he was with the Jets?
Was it?
I don't know. I don't
No.
know. I'm just making up names. The Boomer Esiason, is that who he would have been going for? All right, what do we got here? Let's start prepping.
I mean, you're getting in a lot of these third and fourth tier type players coming off the board now. I believe we get, I think, was that Deontay Johnson there selected?
Hurt you. I'm almost thinking, let's do we go back? Yeah, quarterback probably wouldn't be a bad thing. I think maybe we go ahead and grab our other tight end here in the 12th round, depending on what we got. I mean, we got Hooper's down there. That might not be a bad selection because, I mean, the other tight ends that are beyond him are not looking as good.
Our wide receivers here are starting to kind of look into a little
ho-hum.
Yep. A lot of the same guys there. You had Justin Jefferson just come off the board there, so we're getting to that point in the draft where you're seeing some of these rookies starting to come off. And then you go over here and you kind of scroll back over into the running backs. The running backs still look very, very thin. Not a lot there.
This is definitely where you got to do some scrolling for sure.
Yeah, just not a lot of guys there that I would want to invest in. As I'm going down the board and looking here.
And there goes Aaron Rodgers right before us there.
Which I'm fine with. I'm not expecting a lot out of Aaron Rodgers this year.
Is Drew Lock still available? Yeah, he's still available.
Drew Lock's available. I mean, you've got.
Hell, I'd almost let's go ahead and go get a tight end or wide receiver. And hell, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think we can wait on quarterback a little longer. I'd almost be going after Austin Hooper or
yeah.
What do you think about Austin Hooper?
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure how he's going to get used in the offense with Cleveland, but he's getting paid to be the best tight end in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the best tight end on the board right now, and if we go with tight end, I think that's going to be the player to go with. So I'm
good with that.
I'm not opposed to taking Austin Hooper there to fill in as a second tight end here for us in this draft.
Second tight end slash
flex. Yeah.
And that's, and we discussed it last year when we were doing some of these things, but second tight end, man, especially in a best ball, I mean, you could always put that guy in a flex and be better than a lot of those wide receivers you're going to get here. So
yeah, definitely.
We going wide receiver, running back. We got what about some rookie? We got any rookies that are down the board a little bit there that we might not be able to see on the front page?
Let's see. T. Higgins, the first one. There's you got Laviska Shenault. Brandon Ayuk there.
What do you think about? I mean, what do you think about Deshaun Jackson?
I mean,
best
he's a
ball
good
format.
He's a good play in this best ball type format. I didn't see where he was at.
He's down a little lower. I mean, Alshon's there.
I was going to say, for me in this format, if I'm going to go with an Eagles wide receiver, it's going to be Alshon. If he's healthy and he's on the field, he's going to get the looks.
I say let's go with it.
I like a player like Mike Williams that's there, but now you got a different quarterback there. Tyrod Taylor's not known to get the ball down the field, so I think that kills a lot of what his game is. In other past years, I'd have probably gone with Mike Williams there, but right now,
if this were last year, I'd have gone Mike Williams for sure.
So now let's look here. We're starting to round out the roster. We got Breeze at quarterback, Barkley, Montgomery, Julio Jones, Cortland Sutton, Kittle, and Marlon Mack right now technically slotted in at the flex.
Metcalf. So obviously we're going kicker next, right?
Yeah, we should. That should be the play. We're going to go with our Austin Ross or whatever the guy that the Patriots selected in the draft.
He has the racist tattoo or something like that.
Yeah, however they want to spin that. That's whatever the media wants to do. I mean, this guy's from a military family and now you got people trying to bring him down because of a tattoo he got. I can't deal with the media.
Let's go down on the wide receiver rankings. There, sometimes we have to do a little scrolling. This is about the time for a little scrolling here.
Yep, there's going to be quite a number of guys to go down through. I see one name right in general that I wouldn't mind taking a hold of.
Was that Metcalf Harmon?
No, this player right here.
Yeah,
I'm just New York Giants.
I'm just not as big on him.
I mean, I think he finished the year he finished the year solidly, and I think he's going to grow with Daniel Jones more than some of those other guys will.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting into a lot of these other guys. There's another player that I'm interested in, but it's not time to pull the trigger there yet. And that would be this young man right here.
I agree.
I like that one. There's Josh Gordon with an asterisk by his name. Oh man, that's priceless. There's if we want to go the Riley Ridley route,
I'm good. Well, we do have Woo Fantasy favorite up there.
Yeah. Anthony Miller's still on the board.
Anthony Miller is on the board.
That is true. So you got Mike Williams just finally coming off the board. Daniel Jones finally coming off the board there here in the 13th round. Couple of defenses, the 49ers and the Ravens coming off the full board back behind us too. I'm still, even in a 10-team league in the 13th round, I'm not pulling the trigger there on a defense.
What do we got defense available? I'm just curious to look and see what's out there. And
you got Rams, Vikings, Jaguars, Texans, Chargers, Broncos.
I'll tell you what, man, that Chargers day, I was big on them last year. I think some injuries kind of put them out early, but man, the Chargers are gonna be a really good defense.
They would, but now you're playing. All of a sudden you're playing in a division that's got a lot of offense. We know Kansas City, Las Vegas took a lot of players. Denver looks like they're an emerging offense too. We keep talking about them. And I think that Chargers defense might take a hit this year, even with some of the good secondary players that they have.
I would agree. Yeah.
So that would kind of lead me into kind of shying away from that defense.
It's a best ball too. I mean, I think in the format that we're in, especially with the players we got early, you may even take one or two defenses and.
But yeah, you're obviously going to take two defenses and two kickers in a best ball format. The way you've got the set up here, so that we have 2 spots left. 2 open spots left is what we're looking at here. We're going to need to get another quarterback. And
so we got a quarterback, and let's see, what do we got position wise here? We got
4 deep at running
5 deep at running back.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
And then
5 deep at receiver as well.
Okay. And I think our wide receivers are pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
I would almost say you got to take a flyer at running back position there if we're going to take a flyer at a position. So
I agree. I will agree with that.
What does the team behind us have there?
Let's see here.
It's always one of my favorite things. You're drafting on a turn is figuring out what the hell the team in front of you has to figure out what the hell you need and don't need to get. So he's got 2 quarterbacks. So we don't have to get a quarterback with the first pick.
No, we do not. We need to go running back because he's very thin at running back so far, it looks like.
I agree, yeah. And with our 2 missteps at running back, letting the clock run out, I figure that's probably a spot to go through.
Yeah, try to find another guy, a nice little home run hitter type of a pick that's going to pay dividends, I would say. So let's look to see what we got here as we work down the board. There you got Justin Jackson splitting time with Eckler in the backfield, but they also have Joshua Kelly. There's my guy Zach Moss that is there as well, and splitting time in the backfield with Devin Singletary in Buffalo.
Click back on our team real quick. There you go. So we got Montgomery, Barkley, guys. White.
White
I mean,
Mac.
we don't really have a handcuff situation to go with there. So
Nope.
go back up. Let's see what we got.
Here we go.
So I guess my vote would either be Philip Lindsay, Duke Johnson, or go with the rookie and go Zach Moss and see what you got. I don't know how many, or maybe even at this point, Devontae Freeman, he's going to land somewhere. Where? Who the hell knows? But
Yeah, but who's going to want to be the guy that
he's going to be stuck behind somebody.
He will be stuck behind somebody. So for me, with it being a best ball, and you're really looking for more, 1 week pops in a lineup, I think I'm going to go the rookie route here, and I'm going to grab Zach Moss out of that backfield in Buffalo. He's going to be the touchdown scorer there as well for them. So they get down close. It's going to come down to him or Josh Allen. Devin Singletary really didn't get too many looks from inside the 5 last year. That was Frank Gore's job. And I think Zach Moss is probably going to fill that role for this team this year.
Yeah.
Even though I wished he would have landed somewhere else because I'm a big Zach Moss fan.
I agree.
So now we're going to wait for this back-to-back picks here, and we're going to grab our next quarterback selection.
We getting the quarterback, or we're going to go ahead defense?
I mean,
let's click on both. Let's see what we got here.
Let's go see. We got Rams there, Vikings, Jaguars, Texans, Chargers, Broncos.
What do we got quarterback-wise?
We have, at this point left, you got Minshew, Garoppolo, Cousins, Carr, Taylor, Locke. A lot of those backup types. Yeah, I think for me, I'm almost, with it being that best ball format, I kind of want to lock in Drew Lock.
I was just about to tell you, it's like, dude, I really respect you, but we need to go ahead and Drew Lock here. So let's go Drew Lock.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play here. He's definitely a best ball type format quarterback, I think, for 2020. I mean, there might be weeks where he's going to give you 210, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. There's going to be a lot of weeks where he goes 330 and 4 touchdowns, probably 330 and 3.
Well, I think with a guy like Breeze, you got a guy that's going to get some points on a week in, week out basis. You might as well have a guy that's a little bit of a home run hitter, week in, week out. So I like that.
All right, so now that's going to put us down to the last 4 picks of this draft. Well, as you can see, we've got kicker, defense,
double defense, and then double kicker.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the play here, which that gives us a little bit of some freelance time as we're working through the board here. So you mentioned it with the draft and the Dallas Cowboys draft, and you mentioned how well you thought they did reluctantly. Many people were dogging the piss out of the Green Bay Packers draft, as they should have been. So now you see the draft come and go. Green Bay drafts Jordan Love in the first round. They trade up to get him, no less, and then get A.J. Dillon in the second round. But they go the entire draft without selecting a wide receiver.
Horrible.
They lost Geronimo Allison in the offseason, but they brought in Devin Funchess.
Horrible.
What are we thinking here? And they've outwardly come out and said at this point that they're wanting to try to install more of a run-based offense in 2020. So obviously Aaron Rodgers, I've dinged Aaron Jones as far as my rankings on that as well. Are any interest in the Packers offense fantasy-wise right now for you outside of Devontae Adams?
As far as the wide receivers go?
Just in general, is there a player on that offense that when you make a selection, you're going, certainly glad I got this guy?
No. MVS, no. I mean, the guys on this offense here, are just, you had a great chance to be able to select, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman. Those guys would have been somebody to look forward to. you just don't have that guy right now. I mean, Devin Funchess is not good. I can't remember where I saw it. I saw it here recently that somebody was so excited about Devin Funchess. Oh, that was the guy that they filled the wide receiver spot with. Really? I mean, Alan Lazard may be somebody in a format like this where, maybe you take a guy like Alan Lazard. I mean, he's a guy I think that could hit, but I don't think he's going to have the consistency that you really want with something like that.
No, not at all. You're not going to get any kind of consistency out of that passing attack outside of Devontae Adams this year. I mean, you got Jay Sternberger there. They drafted tight end this year as well with Degura. I mean, it's going to be a lot of a muddy situation, and we saw it too. Like I think it was Scott Barrett on Twitter put out earlier today. You had the Titans with Matt LaFleur at offensive coordinator were 27th in points, 25th in yardage. They leave. They go to 10th in points and 4th in yards per play. Prior to his arrival in Green Bay, they were top 10 in both categories. Last year, 17th in scoring, and I believe like 15th in yards. So the Matt LaFleur effect is taking hold for the Green Bay Packers, making them a less efficient offense. That's what we're saying here. So I'm steering clear for sure. A lot of these Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, no, I would definitely have to agree for sure.
But we mentioned it earlier too. Of course, you got Joe Burrow to the Bengals. We're expecting some good things out of him. We've mentioned it on prior podcasts. You've got Tua Tagovailoa. He's now Miami Dolphin. We expected that. But outside of that, I mean, the Dolphins bring in Matt Breida via trade over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go and get a receiver in the draft, which was kind of suspect as well. So moving forward, how is your outlook on Tagovailoa after the draft now?
Yeah, again, we talked about it a little bit on the live pod on round one. I mean, I like his outlook a little better than I like Herbert's. I think Herbert has a lot of bust potential for me. So Tua has a good spot. I mean, you got Devontae Parker, you got Conley, you got Albert Wilson, you've got Allen Hurns. I mean, you've got some older receivers. They just need that young receiver to be able to come in there and do his thing. You got Gesicki. I thought the better move would have been, instead of getting the corner out of Auburn, would have been to get a T. Higgins. I mean, that would have really solidified your offensive playmakers there. So
yeah,
especially when you had so many. That's the one probably strong spot on the Miami roster right now is corner, and you draft your corner in round one.
Yeah, that was a questionable move there. And like I mentioned, they didn't go and get the running back, which a lot of people were expecting them to do. So anytime between the first or third round for any of their picks, they could have taken probably a difference maker at running back for them in 2020 and beyond.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they should have gone.
They opt to move the pick for Matt Breida. So yeah, how do you feel about that? I mean, we mentioned it while we were in the draft room in here and kind of talked about the difference between Howard and Breida, but that was an obvious miss for that Dolphins team, right? You could have gotten a guy.
Huge miss.
I mean, a lot of people were talking Dobbins around 2 for them. They didn't go with that. Heck, you could have gotten into the third round and gotten Zach Moss or a player of that ilk. I think you would have been in a better spot than losing a draft pick for Matt Breida.
110%. It almost sounded like the Dolphins had made that pick, quote unquote.
No,
sure.
on the Vikings defense.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I would have gone elsewhere. All the secondary pieces that they lost 3 or 4 guys in the secondary. I probably wouldn't have gone.
I mean, Xavier Rhodes wasn't that much of a miss for them. They did pick up some pieces on defense in the draft, so
they did.
I think they're still in a good spot.
All right. Well, nonetheless, we're getting ready to get another defense here. So,
all right. Well, the second pick of a defense.
Where was their bye week on the Vikings?
Let's go back and look at that down here at the bottom. Vikings at bye week of 12, so we have to avoid that with these.
So no Chargers,
No
unfortunately.
Chargers or no
Or
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Hey, Cowboys are there.
Yeah, I say let's go Cowpokes there.
I think they're gonna have solid weeks as a defense this year. Might not give you might not give you much in terms of turnovers, but they're gonna bring a little bit in sacks. They're not gonna get scored a ton on. I think with some of the moves that they've made, I think they'll be a solid defense, especially in a best ball format. They might give you a good week here and there that will fill in awfully well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have some pieces to be able to hopefully generate some turnovers, get some sacks. Again, I think I would have loved. I just love the Chargers defense here.
I'm still kind of iffy on them. Like I said, I mentioned there's going to be a lot of teams that they play on the schedule. They're going to have a lot of points scored against them.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, but you got to think at the same time. I mean, you only got 6 out of the 16 weeks that you've got.
Going back and looking at it too,
actually, technically 4 weeks. You got. I mean, I think the Broncos are going to be high scoring. I think the Chiefs are going to be high scoring. But outside of that, I mean, you got all the rest of those weeks. I don't think the Raiders are going to put up exactly a shit ton of points this early. So, yeah, for me, the Chargers are one of my best defenses last year, and Derwin James went out, and man, that really screwed the pooch on that. So.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I'd almost like going back and looking at it now. One of those two defenses, I wouldn't have minded grabbing the possibly if they were there, which I don't think they were when we took. No, I was like, man, I thought the 49ers were there still, but they were not.
Negative.
Kicker
wise. Well, we're not going with the Pats rookie there.
No.
Well, technically it's the Pats rookie, but I mean it could be somebody else, but
could be.
What's your strategy when selecting a kicker? At least in a best ball.
Most often than not, in a best ball, you just want to try to take the kickers as much as you can from teams that are going to score points, and that's really how you view it in a season-long format too. But the difference between best ball and season-long format, obviously, we're only going to take one kicker in a season-long draft. And most often than not, that kicker I target in season long, I try to get as late as I can in bye weeks.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I look for, especially in a best ball, which again, we all know I'm not a best ball fan format, a fan of the best ball format. So I think my strategy, at least on the kicker, is I want a high potent offense, the guy that I know is going to add a floor, get 4 or 5 points. And then I want a kicker on an absolutely shitty team who, or a team in like the Niners, who I think is going to be an offense that stalls a lot in the red zone, is going to kick a lot of field goals. So,
yeah. I mean, a team that can move the ball a lot, but then they do stall out, like you mentioned. I like the idea of the 49ers there. Definitely a good best ball kicker situation. And that's the good thing about this setup here is you're taking a team kicker, so we're not having to sift through battles of early on kicker training camp battles that might occur.
So let's see. So I have not really paid attention much. So where did Gostkowski go to the Rams?
Gostkowski, I'm not sure is even signed yet. I think he's still trying to work his. Okay. I think he's working his way back from injury still.
Where did Legatron go?
Oh, he is now a kicker for them there, Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
We have him on the roster as well as Dustin Hopkins.
I was gonna say who actually
finished well for us last year. Yeah, made all 8 of the field goals that he kicked at the end of the year last year. So
gotcha.
So yeah, I would have probably stuck with the low dollar value kicker and went about my business instead of signing Zerline to a could be upwards of $6 million deal. I think
for a team that has cap issues, you go and sign a kicker like that. Interesting.
Oh God, yeah, obviously. It's just you wouldn't want to make that move. That's just me. And it was also a guy in Zerline that struggled most of the year last year kicking football, so not too keen on that for sure. So Getting down to here towards the end of this draft, getting down towards the end of this this live stream and non-podcast version of Woo Fantasy here. Post draft, who are your winners coming out of the draft in terms of fantasy value?
I think we got him on our team as our number 2. I think Drew Lock is improved tremendously. I mean, you got a lot of weapons out there. Again, I think I mentioned it during our listener event we had the other day, but I think with all the weapons you got at your disposal there, they're going to throw the ball, and he has the real potential. I think he's going to get drafted as a 2, and I think he's going to finish as a 1. So he's somebody who I definitely think is going to be a very big winner from the draft process here.
And then, of course, a lot of
Dak
people.
Prescott, too.
Yeah, Dak Prescott. If you're looking at the quarterbacks, I think Dak Prescott comes out of this now as the bona fide number 3 in fantasy rankings heading towards the season behind Lamar Jackson, behind Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's still in a contract situation. They've not signed him to a long-term deal. He's on the franchise tag. It's the make or break year for Dak Prescott. So, yeah, he's going to have to get the job done. I agree with you there. He's a big winner as well. Running back wise, a lot of people were talking to Jordan Howard with the Dolphins situation. They brought in Matt Breida, but they felt like he was a big winner. Chargers, you could view as a winner, Eckler on that one as well. I know they brought in Joshua Kelly, and that was kind of something that I went a little bit back and forth with Scott Engel yesterday on Twitter. He feels like Josh Kelly is going to give Eckler a run for his money, and essentially split a lot of time with Eckler in the backfield this year.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a lot of Eckler, and then the rest of the share of the snaps that are going to be in that backfield are going to be split between Kelly and Jackson, especially for much of 2020.
There you go.
That's how I was viewing that.
Still an option there. No, I'm not going to foresee myself having a lot of shares of Austin Eckler. I'm really not. You go with a guy in Phillip Rivers who he had some, legit chance to throw the ball downfield, which opened things up. Before that for Eckler, I mean, Tyrod guys are going to be, teams are going to be stacking the box against the Chargers there on offense. I just do not think Eckler is going to be somebody that I'm going to be going after in drafts. And he will not have anywhere close to the kind of year he had last year.
Whew, man, I kind of disagree there.
Hey,
I think Eckler's still going to be a very hot commodity in fantasy this year. I mean, you're looking at a guy. He's definitely going to give you some points via PPR format. That's a no-brainer. Looking at kicker here real quick. Where you want to go?
Let's see. I think Texans is a good one.
Yeah, I'll go with Fairbairn.
You got an offense that they are.
The defense is not really that great. They're going to have to match points, get up and down the field. So I'll give you that one.
I would say go with the Chargers too. I think they're going to be an offense that's going to stall quite a bit. They're on separate bye weeks, I do believe. I would say either Charger, Eagle. I don't think we can go Eagles because we just picked the Texans, right? Same bye week 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one here? I'll throw this one out there to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that one.
With Big Ben back and a better offense.
Either one of those.
Yeah, either one of these two right here, right?
Either one. Let's see. We got the Texans.
I'd almost go with this Bucks kicker
I would almost
situation.
say let's go with the Bucks. Yeah,
yep.
Let's go with the Bucks in the better weather.
Yep. Bingo. And there we go.
Bingo.
Completed our draft there, but that's what I was wanting to kind of get at there. Back to the Eckler thing. I think he's going to still be a great option in PPR formats this year. Definitely give you a lot of points via pass catching ability there this year. But I mean, right now, I think we saw him go really early in this draft here tonight. I believe they did a post-draft host draft on SiriusXM today, and I believe he went in the first round of that draft as well.
Yeah.
Eckler, you're looking at as a guy that's going to be a first round. At that first round price tag, I might tend to agree with you. If I can get him, if I'm in that back 4 picks, and I can get him on the turn in that second grouping in the second round,
that's what I want.
I'm very, very good with that. But as the hype machine is and how it tends to get out of hand, through the summer, we're going to see Eckler's price continue to stay there, I think. And I think people are going to wind up being bullied into making a selection of Eckler in the first round.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is the time of year that honestly I really don't like doing a lot of drafts. I think your opinion gets formed too early on guys, and you really can't see, the light through the tunnel. This is probably the only draft that I will be doing probably for the next couple months. Just in the build up to the fantasy football season next year. Me personally, I don't know where kickers are signed. I want to play completely, almost no attention to a ton of player movement out there and where guys are getting pegged to go. Because guess what? I want to form my own opinion. So
exactly, that's the name of the game, is forming your own opinion, and that's how your own rankings are set up. Of course, I do want you to check out my rankings that are on rotoballer.com, of course. Go through those. It's that I am on the rankings team with the website, so it's either myself, it's Pierre Camus, it's Scott Engel, it's a host of others. A lot of bright minds in the fantasy football industry. We kind of put those together and give you that composite set of rankings. So go on there and check that out. Of course, that's rotoballer.com. Woo Fantasy is the promo code if you want to get access to the premium content. That promo code gives you a discount at checkout, so go give them a shout out and let us know we sent you. Of course, we want to give a shout out.
Do we have another pick after this?
No, we are done, sir.
Why does it show? You sure?
We should be done.
It's got round 20 there.
No, we have completely filled a roster from what I see here. Oh no, we do. Hey, 10 of 11 slots.
Way to go, B.
Hey, well,
I was like, wait a minute, why does it have another round up there? All right, we get to select one more pick. Woo!
Hey, had no clue. I thought we were done there at round 20. Or round 19.
This is what it goes to show you. Don't podcast and draft.
Well, I'm fine with it.
If this is a much more serious format, I would be a whole lot more.
It's a best ball format. We're getting an indication of where a lot of this value and some of these players are lying.
Where are we going here? We got 5 and 5 and 2 tight ends. Where you think?
Well, I mean, we went with the home run play at running back with Zach Moss.
Let's go home run wide receiver, right?
We
could
Jackson
go still out there.
We could do that. We could go third tight end. Is there a tight end that's out there worth a flip right now? Jarwin, there's your boy Jack Doyle.
May go Jack Doyle there. Let's see.
That is your
running back wide receiver.
That is your friend Jack Doyle.
Oh God! Don't even highlight Sammy Watkins, please. Now.
Oh no, I'm not looking at Sammy Watkins.
I would love to see if there's a Pittman out there. That would be. I think he would be a nice little.
Nah, there's our pick.
Brian.
Yeah, that's our. I think that will be our pick. I think he's the guy that we're going to grab here as the home run pick to end this draft here.
Okay.
I think he's going to take over the slot duties.
Scroll down. Let's see what else we got. I like the pick. Let's just see what else we got there.
Let's see. You got Tyler Johnson, who takes over the Brashad Perriman role for the Buccaneers.
I like his ability in a dynasty league there.
Yeah, he's going to be a popular selection.
Reynolds could be an interesting pick.
Not with them bringing in Van Jefferson, though. As soon as Van Jefferson was selected, that drew me away from Josh Reynolds. That told me that they don't believe that he can really shoulder the load as the third wide receiver week in and week out for them.
I just think it's the depth thing.
Yeah, I think. Well, the thing is, Van Jefferson does almost exactly what Josh Reynolds does, if not to a lesser extent what Robert Woods does.
That's what I'm thinking. Robert Woods could be in about a year or so. Could be deuces.
Yep, he could be. I mean, you're getting into a lot of. I'm almost certain that Pittman's already been taken. If you want me to be honest,
probably so. Yeah, I was going to say hit the search. I'm just. Yeah, he's gone. Okay.
He is gone.
Dennis Pitta. Wow.
Yeah, still in the Still in the search queue.
Yeah, I like. I'd say unless we go Doyle, I'd say we go. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Edwards.
That's a good reach pick to end the draft there. I think
good home run hit.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, we were starting to wrap up the show until we realized that was one more pick to be made there.
Yeah, I kept looking. I was like, wait, why is there around 20 up there?
Yeah, I did not scroll down on the roster page at the bottom either and missed that one last slot.
That's okay. We'd have gone the same route anyway.
Yeah, more than likely. I don't think that would have changed anything at all. But yeah, anything we kind of learned here with this draft?
I think you just kind of learned where a lot of the people are ranking some of the rookie running backs. Wide receivers are going to go where they're kind of going to go. But I think that's the most important thing is just trying to figure out who's going where in the running backs, in terms of the rookies here and just adjusting for that and obviously knowing the format that you're in. So what about you?
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. I kind of wanted to see how the picks come off the board in the first round. Into the second round, I wanted to see where players like an Aaron Jones fail because of the perceived value loss with the pick of A.J. Dillon. Wanted to see where he went. A lot of these players that might be losing a little bit of share in the offense that were big time players last year. That's what you want to see. In a very quick post draft. Draft that we're doing right now.
Where does somebody value?
Yeah, where is the value on this stuff? Of course, you have the recency bias in your mind. You're seeing everything on Twitter and all the stuff that you're reading that's saying, I got to go get Clyde Edwards-Hilaire very early. And, of course, we saw that he was taken here.
Round 3.
Early round 3, I believe. Into round 3, 30th pick overall. I think you're going to probably see him selected around that point. I mentioned it earlier on this show. And if not, you're going to see a lot of the other rookie running backs kind of get selected around in that area too. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers. I think all three of those guys are going to be in that range of 3rd to 4th round guys that are taken really, really quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing to be smart is here, don't, you see it every year. Do not hype a rookie up so much just because they're a rookie. Because they're a rookie, that does not mean that they're not going to stink. You do not have a lot of running backs. And you go back and look, you do not have a lot of running backs that go outside of round 1, in a rookie season that actually do a lot. So just be careful with that. I mean, don't undervalue somebody who is going to go out there and perform week in, week out over a guy that's a rookie just because he's a rookie. So,
well, I mean, that's the thing. We've mentioned it on this podcast probably for the last couple of years now. Is everyone wants to chase that rookie value? They want the next Ezekiel Elliott. They want the next Saquon Barkley.
Do you think we have a Zeke or Barkley year 1 in this draft?
Year 1, no. There's not
a
year 1. Agree. Yeah, there's not a year 1 prospect that's going to give you top 8 fantasy value at the position. No.
Unless somebody gets hurt, and that'll be the only way this happens. If somebody gets hurt, you get a Kerryon Johnson get hurt, and does Swift have the ability to finish top 8? Absolutely. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire have the ability to finish top 8. If Williams gets hurt, absolutely.
Yeah.
As it currently stands, it is not going to happen with these guys if the situation stays like what it is.
Yeah, and then a lot of, we're not really bringing it up much, and not a lot of people are really bringing attention to it. But as things are the way they are right now with the pandemic and no one's able to get on a practice field, we're used to seeing rookie mini camps. We're used to seeing off-season OTAs. Those are not happening right now. So players like a DeAndre Swift, players like a CeeDee Lamb, players like a Jerry Jeudy that really probably could benefit from getting in early and getting in with the team, learning the playbook, learning route tree, things like that would help them garner a spot into the offense quicker. They're losing that right now. And I think that's going to affect what they can do in the early parts of the season. So that learning curve is going to be something you're going to keep an eye on with these rookies. early
And
on
again,
right now.
go with the veterans. I think that's the theme. You need to lean a little more toward the veterans than you normally would. In a redraft league, a dynasty league, it's completely different ball of wax as it is with the best ball here. But redraft, just your plain Jane PPR league, I'm definitely leaning the veterans a little more than I am the rookies here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. But any other tidbits you want to put out there from tonight's first draft, post NFL draft here?
Nah, man, just excited. I think you saw some of the guys who we're going to be targeting a little bit out there, and here over the next couple months here, just starting to do some drafts and figuring out where guys are going to go, just to come up with a strategy for at least for me personally, what I'm going to be doing this year.
Yeah, and as for me, I've got a couple of articles I'm going to put out probably over the course of this next week for Roto Baller. It's going to be the rookie draft, players to target, and players to avoid. I'm going to give you a few names that you're going to want to keep an eye on in those rookie drafts that are coming up now that the NFL draft is over. Those will be premium content articles, so you will want to sign up for a premium account if you do not have it yet. Like I previously mentioned, Woo Fantasy is the promo code to get you a discount at checkout for that. So definitely do that. But wrapping up the show here, first draft out of the way. Nick, you want to give them your Twitter account?
Yeah, man, you can find me at the Real FF Goat.
Of course, there at the bottom of the screen, it says Woo_fantasy. That is where you'll find us on Twitter. I am the Roto Superstar. And we thank you guys for bringing on this broadcast with us here. And hopefully we'll give you a little bit of information to put towards your drafts in 2020. And good luck to you guys out there. Thanks for stopping in on another episode of
Fantasy.